Chapter 1083. Before it got dark, Michael and Lucy were already in their guest room, and the sound of the waves still rose. Michael was really depressed during this period, and separated from his wife for a long time, so he was extremely impatient. Lucy naturally loves her husband very much. She thought that she would never see him again in this life, but she didn't expect to have a chance to return to his embrace now, so she naturally catered to her husband with joy. But this was supposed to be a very harmonious scene, but Lucy's heart suddenly felt a sense of loss. The reason why she felt disappointed was because she felt that her husband's ability seemed to be much worse than that of the dirty supervisor. This is really depressing. One is the one you love, and the other is the one you hate. But if you put aside these and simply talk about that, the two people you love can't add up to the person you hate. After all, the other party was from a rough job. Although he was not too young, his physical fitness wasn't really lacking. He was strong and powerful. Looking at Michael again, he was a little blessed, and he never exercised. After a few days in prison, he is still a little thinner. Otherwise, the big belly in the past would be very empty. So if you really compare it with that supervisor, Michael can do the most with the other's two successful powers. This made Lucy feel that it was a little bit interesting. It was supposed to be a cloud and rain, but now it feels like a spring rain that is as expensive as oil, and the land is wet after the rain. But she could only sigh in her heart. After all, she was freed. She didn't want to go back to that dark place, and she didn't want to wait on the dirty and stinky overseer in that dirty brick house. In the evening, the servants of Whale's family invited them to the guest room dining room for dinner. Neither Fury nor Andy Whale came over. They now regard the Richard family as their subordinates, so it is impossible for them to come and accompany them to dinner. Halfway through the meal, the butler of the Whale family came over and said to Mrs. Richard, "Our manager Whale asked me to tell you that he has already bought the Beacon Top Villa A06, and you are lucky. This villa was renovated and prepared to live by myself. The luxurious appliances are fully furnished. Mr. Whale spent an extra $40 million to buy it, so you can move it in tomorrow." When the Richard family heard this, the excitement was overwhelming. The lady couldn't control her trembling hands, and she threw the silverware away. After thanking the housekeeper a lot of kindness, Mrs. Richard said to her family, "We have all seen Beacon Top's A-type villa. There are many rooms, enough for our family to live in. I am older and like it. It's a bit more spacious, so I want the largest room on the third floor, and you guys pick the rest." Michael immediately said, "Then Lucy and I will have the largest room on the second floor." Harold said, "Then I want the second bedroom on the third floor." Olivia said, "Then I will be on the second floor." "Okay." Mrs. Richard nodded in satisfaction and sneered, "Don't their family think we are finished? I really can't wait to take a look. They know what we look like after we moved next door." Michael gritted his teeth and said, "That damn Elaine and Alex, combined to calculate my wife and cause my wife to suffer so much. I must settle accounts with them." Lucy hurriedly said, "Are you crazy? Don't tell them about this matter." "Why?" Michael couldn't help frowning. Lucy immediately said, "At the beginning, I set up a set with Zora to try to cheat Elaine, but he failed. Alex calculated it instead. So if you count it like this, Zora and I broke the law first. This incident is shaken out, and the police intervened, and they must have arrested me instead of arresting them." With that, Lucy thought about how Zora was shot to death last night, and said nervously, "Zora wanted to hit me last night, but was shot to death by the Whale family. Now her family's still in that black coal pit. If the incident spreads and the police get her family out, they will definitely find me to avenge."